welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a back to school or really quick work makeup look. I want to do something a little bit more natural and quick compared to what I've seen going around YouTube at the moment. Not saying that their looks are bad, I'm just saying personally I would never have had time to apply all that makeup, especially like foundation, bronzer, contour, blush. And on top of that, I probably would have gotten like in big trouble if I'd worn that makeup to school. So this is for those people who are not allowed to wear makeup to school or don't want to wear that much or don't have the time. And I personally, I was not allowed to wear a single drop of makeup. So all I would wear is maybe a little tiny bit of concealer, or some days I would sneak some mascara. So I wanted to create a really fresh, kind of glowy, very minimal makeup, cheap makeup look that most people can probably get away with and most people can apply very fast. So I hope you all enjoy. So I'm going to begin with moisturising. I'm using this Nivea Day Cream which has SPF 15, so it's kind of essential if you're going to school to wear SPF. And keep your skin looking young. I just got it in my eye and it's burning. Okay, so we're just going to let our moisturiser sink in for a few seconds before we begin on our makeup.
Work that in, work that in, work that in.
Then for a primer, I wanted to grab a mattifying cheap primer. So this is the Models Prefer Perfect Canvas Mattifying Primer. And this is great because like I said before, it's cheap. You can find it in that price line if you're in Australia. And it's mattifying. So if you want your makeup to last all day long and not look shiny, I'd probably go for a mattifying primer and foundation. So I'm just going to apply that over my entire face like I usually do. Like if you wanted, you could skip one of these steps. So instead of moisturising, you could probably use a primer instead. Or instead of primer, you could just use the moisturiser, because I feel like they kind of do similar things. If you're going to skip one, I'd probably skip the primer because I want to keep the moisturisation and the SPF in your makeup routine. Then we're going to move on to our face, and we don't want anything too crazy. When I went to school, I never wore foundation. I would just wear like maybe some concealer if I was desperate. Otherwise, the teachers would know, like they just had like makeup radars. But if you are someone who can get away with a little tiny bit of coverage, I would highly recommend a BB cream or a CC cream. So I've got two here. I've got the Chi Chi Super BB cream, which is an amazing BB cream because it's a little bit more of a medium to full coverage. So like I said before, if you can get away with it, this one's fantastic. But if you can't get away with it and you want to go for something a little bit more subtle, then I would recommend the Loreal Skin Perfection BB Cream. 24-hour hydration, evens and brightens skin tone, targets appearance of dark spots, corrects redness and imperfections, and it has an SPF of 15 as well. I think the L'Oreal is a little bit cheaper than the what's it called? Chi Chi. So with BB creams, you can totally just go in with your fingers. There's nothing wrong with that and it's super fast. So you just rub that into your skin as if it was a moisturiser. Just make sure that you've got cleaner fingers. So as you can see, that's really not added much coverage at all. It's the slightest tint, and that's essentially what you want. So I feel like it just gives me a little bit more of like an evenness throughout my whole skin, gives me a little bit of a healthy glow going on, and it protects me from the sun. Alternatively to that, you can just add a concealer to your problem areas and underneath your eyes. I'm just going to add a little bit underneath my eyes because I look like I have not slept in a week. So I'm just adding a very little bit underneath my eyes and making sure I blend that out to perfection. And the thing I like about doing it this way is that you can still see my freckles. So it doesn't look like I've got, you know, this full coverage foundation on. It's not obvious. And I don't think freckles are a flaw anyway. Ow, I just poked myself in the eye. Then if you have oily skin, you can add a powder on top. I recommend a translucent powder, and this one is by Revlon. Translucent powders are great because they're not going to add coverage. They're just purely setting it. But if you have dry skin or you're just not worried about it, then you can totally skip this step. I like to just set my under eye concealer if you do put concealer on, because it will probably crease. So that is our face completely done. Still very natural. I don't look like I have anything on, and my lighting's too bright. So you can still see all my freckles. Just kind of brightened my face up a little bit. Then I'm just going to go ahead and use the Models Prefer Makeup Setting Spray just to ensure that lasts a whole 6 hours, which is the school day in Australia. I'm not sure what it is everywhere else. Actually, that'd be cool to know. Let me know like what time you guys go to school. In Australia, we start school at 9 and finish at 3. But that was just my school. I think sometimes they differ a little bit, but it's pretty interesting, I guess. For brows, I would never fill my brows in when I went to school because I feel like I have pretty prominent brows anyway naturally. If you're someone who wants to fill them in, I would recommend using a brow tint or something similar. This is by L'Oreal and it's the Brow Artist Plumper, and I swear by it, it's amazing. It's just going to add little fibers to your eyebrows, make them look a little bit thicker and darker. As you can see, that's pretty much just like tinted my brow hairs, which is a really quick and natural looking alternative to filling them in. Next is the only thing I really ever did when I went to school is add a tiny bit of mascara. So I'm just going to add a very thin layer of mascara to my top lashes. I don't add it to my bottom lashes because I just think it looks weird. But you can totally do whatever you desire. I'm going to use the Essence Lash Mania Reloaded, which is one of my favorite mascaras, and it's really cheap. It's like $4. Can you hear that? It's my little brother. Seriously, Harrison? And I only do this step because I'm not gifted with naturally long eyelashes. I pretty much have no eyelashes. But if you're going for a super natural look, I would probably not do this step. I think it's fairly obvious when someone wears mascara. If you want to make your eyes look a little bit more awake because you haven't had enough sleep, you can go ahead and use a nude or whitish nude eye pencil. Probably wouldn't go for white because I feel like that's not very natural looking. This is a good one by NYX and it's called the Wonder Pencil, and you can just line your entire waterline and it just makes them look well wide awake and like you've had a whole 8 hours sleep when you probably have had 2. I'm just applying this to my waterline. So I feel like using this is pretty much undetectable. It pretty much just erases all redness in that area, which is something that I need because when I wake up I'm so red in my waterline. So this is a little magic pencil. You could totally just leave it at that, but just to go one extra step, I'm going to add a nude coloured lip gloss, or you can just use a lip balm. That's what I did in school. This one is by NYX and it's called Smokey Look, and it's pretty close to my natural lip colour. It smells like medicine. Ew. Ew. Not the same colour as my lips, if not a tiny bit different, but oh well. So this is the makeup finished. It's super quick, super easy and natural. It's perfect for people in high school who just want to add a very subtle amount of makeup, or if you're in a rush for work even. It's pretty much like my go-to for getting like groceries or going to the doctors. It's super quick and it just makes you look a little bit more alive. I just wanted to recreate a look that was a little bit more realistic. I feel like a lot of the looks going around on YouTube, I would never have time for that, and if I did, I would get killed in high school if I did that. I think I would have gotten suspended or something, so. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed it and enjoyed this tutorial. Totally different than my previous tutorials because I'm always like full coverage, black eyeshadow, red lipstick. If you did enjoy, please give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe if you're not already, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!